Hey guys, welcome to my floor. So today I'm going to film for you guys a spell from start to finish. This is going to be a very simple protection spell since it's that time of year where people like to pull out Ouija boards and try to contact spirits and we all need a little protection, right? I mean, from enemies, from haters, from car crashes, from crazy people, from ourselves, and sometimes from unwanted entities that enter our realm without permission. So, let me go ahead and get right into it.
Okay, so I have my altar set up here to do a protection incense. So what this spell is going to comprise of is me creating the incense while in ritual in this bowl, and then I will then put the incense into my cauldron. I'm so crashy. Put the incense into my cauldron, and then I'm going to walk it around my home on the inside and on the outside to protect it. Since my practice is nature-based, I do have some nature deities, like I said before in the altar video. I have here my cauldron, of course, and my pot for mixing the incense. I have the ingredients for my incense on my altar. I have all of the candles for the four corners. I have my water vessel, my goblet. I've got a couple of crystals up here representing earth. I have my deity candles, my goddess and my god candle. I have my bell. I have my feather as well as incense for the air element. Of course, my candle for the flame element. I have my wand here, and I do have my athame. I have a different one today. I have this is my little baby one. My nails are a mess. Don't look. And I have my centaur or servitor. She is a fawn woman, and I just really love her. She is definitely a symbol of protection for me. I also have my Artemis Guardian card, which is from the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck, which I really do love. And Artemis is the deity that I work with the absolute most. For my protection incense, I have some patchouli, I have frankincense, I have hyssop, I have anise, and I have peppermint essential oil. They're all going to be going in here, and then once it's mixed together, they will go into my cauldron with a charcoal disc, and I will walk that around my house.
So before you begin your spell, you do want to have any words that you're going to use written down. You want to have your space completely clear. Excuse me. You do want to cleanse your space. So I'm going to cleanse my space now and also pop on some music because mine stopped for some reason. Alright, so I've just got my smudge wand here. I'm going to light that, and then I'm going to walk around my space and cleanse it. Get rid of any energies that are already nested in here because we're starting fresh with this spell. And when you're cleansing with your smudge wand, don't worry if the smudge wand goes out, and you can just light it again. Some people are like, if it goes out, what do I do? Like, do I light it again and do I stop? But just light it again, honey. It's truly okay. When I'm cleansing, I do go anti-clockwise around my room just to get rid of anything. So when you're getting rid of something, anti-clockwise. When you're bringing something in, clockwise. This is a super informal cleansing. This isn't how I usually do it. I'm just trying to go through things step by step for you. So I do usually walk around my room. Can you see me? Okay, so I do usually walk around my room 3 times with the smudge wand. I start from the center. I'll say a little prayer, and then I usually go to the right, and I start probably at like 1 o'clock, and then I go around the room 3 times, and I do have something that I say while I do it. You don't have to say anything while you're smudging. You can just, you know, be putting your intention in that the room has been cleansed of all negative energies, or you can sing a song. I have a little song that I sing. You can say a prayer. It's really up to you what you want to do. There's no right or wrong way to cleanse, really. Okay, so after I've cleansed my space, which really doesn't take long, you don't have to do it for 45 minutes. You can literally do it for 1 minute, 59 seconds, whatever you want to do. After I go around and cleanse, I will take my wand, and this is when we cast our circle. Now, you don't have to cast a circle, but I always suggest casting a circle of protection for yourself while you're doing any kind of working, because once you start opening up those energies and you're trying to receive things in, if you're bringing in protection, if you're bringing in whatever, you are opening up kind of a channel to different dimensions for other things to come through. So protect yourself. Just protect yourself, you know? So when you're casting your circle, you can stand still and just cast your wand around you if you'd like. or you can walk physically around your altar if you can walk around it, or you can even sit at your altar with your eyes closed and imagine yourself casting the circle around your entire house or entire neighborhood, whatever you want to do. Usually I start right in front of my altar, and I do also have a little song that I sing when I'm casting my circle. I'm not going to share those things with you. You can make up your own song for casting your circle. It's important that it comes from you. But I do sing a little song, and I walk around my altar 3 times, clockwise this time, to seal in the protection. So I'll put my wand facing out, and I imagine that my protective aura is coming from me into my wand, and it's coming out the tip. So kind of like a little stream of light is coming out the tip of my wand. So as I walk around my altar, the stream of light is casting a sort of bubble around my space. Walking around a second time, still singing my song. And a lot of times witches will start at the bottom with their wand and cast a circle down on the floor. And then the second time they go around, they'll do it in the middle to cast the protection in the middle. And then the third time they'll hold it up to kind of seal the bubble all the way around. After you do that, your circle is cast. So if you had to pee or get a drink or whatever, you should do that before you cast your circle, because now we are inside its protective bubble. This room is sealed and protected. So we place down our wand, and this is when I start lighting all of my candles, and I call in the spirits from each direction, north, south, east, and west, and then any deities that I'm working with, I call them to come in as well to my circle, and then I light all of my candles as I'm calling each one. Some people will stand in each direction with their arms out and call for the deities this way or the spirits this way. Some people will call to the guardians of the watchtowers of the north, and they will ask if they will come and join them in their circle. Do the same thing for each one. So you do that for each corner. You call to the guardians of the north, call to the guardians of the east, the south, and the west. And then you'll turn around, and I always invite them to join my circle. And if we're direct people or spirits or deities or any kind of entity, I'm never going to direct it or tell it to come. I'm going to ask graciously if this extremely magical spiritual being will come into my space. If it chooses, if it will bless me with its presence. I'm never commanding anyone. And some people do command the spirits or the deities to come to them. That's a different kind of power stance. I do not take that stance. But you can, by all means, do you, boo boo. After I have called to all of the spirits and everyone to come into my circle with me and to help me with my magic, I will go ahead and sit back down, and we're going to actually begin the magic. I did switch out my giant green glass jar for the smaller mortar and pestle just because it was huge. Well, now that we have gotten everything taken care of, all of our deities are with us, we're relaxing. Just a side note, I do like to do magic to chill step or dubstep. I just like really super ethereal, kind of magical, stormy sounding dubstep. So usually I'll do magic with dubstep when I have my windows open, and my neighbors probably think that something terrible is happening, but it's a beautiful time. You can put on whatever music you want. You don't have to play music at all. Sometimes I do magic with just drums. Sometimes I do magic with commercials in the background. Whatever puts you into that state where you feel the most powerful, that's what you should be playing in the background. So, sitting here in our beautiful meditative state, we are going to pull out the words that we're going to be saying, and they will be repeated over and over again while we are creating our protective incense. I wrote something very, very short. Just my home and all of my loved ones are safe within, safe without, protected from all harm, and covered with light. So say that over and over again, out loud or in your head. You can say it quietly and then build up the crescendo. It's up to you. I'll start saying it while I'm pulling out my ingredients and putting them in my mortar. My home and all of my loved ones are safe within, safe without, protected from all harm, and covered with light. Just continue to repeat that while you're putting in all of your herbs. Just continue to repeat that. You don't have to do a protection spell with all of these crazy herbs. You can do protection spells, like I said before, with just a candle or just your intention. Now, if at any time during your ritual any of your candles go out, if it feels like they go out in kind of a strange way or an abrupt way or in a, crazy way, relight it and ask that deity to come back into your circle. So I did lose my water candle. So I would then ask the water fae, since I work with, you know, nature spirits, I'd ask the water fae, the undines, the selkies, the mermaids, if they would join my circle again, say a little prayer, and I would go ahead on. So we are adding all of our ingredients into our mixer bowl. If you don't have a mortar and pestle, that's absolutely fine. You can use a regular bowl, or you could also mix these ingredients in a jar if you wanted to. You're just going to put them together in a shaker jar, shake it up, and then have that incense for future rituals. You just want to make sure that you have a place to put all these ingredients together so that they can be blessed before they go into your cauldron to be used to smudge your home with. So, all this time, we're still repeating our words. My home and all of my loved ones are safe within, safe without, protected from all harm, and covered with light. You'll probably see me reading it over there because I didn't memorize it. Well, things fall out, it's fine, put them back in. A lot of times with spell work, people get freaked out if they drop something or if they mess up or if they forget a step. But your intentions are so visible and they're so palpable to the spirits around you. No one is worried because you dropped something on the floor, or you're not going to be cursed because you knocked over your cauldron by mistake. Like, it's completely fine. Humans are wobbly, fumbly people. We're understood. So once you feel like everything is mixed up perfectly and it smells like really, really nice, and then take a few minutes to ask the spirits that are with you, that you've called, to bless this item before you put it into your cauldron. And at this time, I will also pull out my charcoal disc and light it. Some people like to give offerings to the spirits or the gods that they ask to enter their circle. For me, for the deities and spirits that I work with, I usually bring them some kind of sweets, something like really delicious, something that I baked or something that I made. And I also usually bring some kind of alcohol. A lot of the earth spirits that I work with, they enjoy a nice drink, so I do end up putting a little drink on the altar for them. So once your charcoal disc is lit and you feel like your incense is blessed and it is ready to go into the charcoal disc, you can put the items on there and start walking your cauldron around. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to do this because it's scaring me. It's so close to the candle. At this time, I would usually take my athame and I will cut myself out of my protective circle that I drew earlier so that I can walk around my home with the incense and smudge my entire home. So when you're cutting yourself out of the circle, you literally just make a slice in the protective veil and you cut yourself out. Like, you can either slice a door out so you can get out. I usually slice, because my protective bubble is willowy and wispy for some reason, but still strong. Since I'm drawing in protection for my home, I will walk around my entire house on the inside, clockwise. On the first floor, go up the steps, clockwise on the second floor, in the attic, clockwise in the attic, then come back down, go outside, same thing, clockwise around my home. Usually I go around once on the inside and I'll go around 3 times on the outside. While you're walking around your house doing this blessing, you can continue to say the same words that you wrote before over and over again. This time it's becoming like a song to you, you memorized it, so you're walking around your home. Make sure you get the incense into all the corners. So let me just burn some for you here so you can see. So I hold it up aloft like this, and I do have a feather instrument that I use for smudging, and I will blow the smoke around my home just like this while saying my words over and over again. I'm sorry, I'm looking at myself. But I want to keep fueling my charcoal disc with my incense that I just made so that there's continuous smoke coming out of it. So we're just walking around our home, batting that smoke around, getting into all the corners of your home, top and bottom, just walking in a clockwise circle in each room, and then come back downstairs, go outside, do the same thing, boo. The whole time, saying your words, chanting your words, singing your words, bringing this spell into solidification. We are creating this beautiful protective bubble around our home. Nothing and no one is going to come in and harm any of us today. So once you've gone around your home 3 times and you have gone ahead and protected the heck out of the space, you're going to cut yourself back into your protective circle. If you want to use your wand to seal that space back up where you went out, absolutely. Center yourself, Feel the power within. Feel that protective bubble on your house breathing and coming alive and getting stronger with the power. At this time, I usually thank the deities for coming and entering my circle and being with me. I thank them individually. I do go from north, south, and east and west all over again individually, so each spirit knows that I really appreciate them coming into my circle and assisting me in my magic that day. At that time, I ask them if they want to partake in any of the snacks and alcohol I left for them. So I will leave them out overnight so that, you know, they get the full Monty. And then I ask to have a drink with the deities that are there. Offer them the first drink, and then I drink. Delicious. If we're sharing some sort of delicious food that I've made, I offer them the first taste. I have the other taste. And then at this point, usually I do some shakes because a lot of energy is being built up at this time, and you want to kind of get that energy out, ground it back into the ground, because you don't want to have an erratic house after you just protected it. So you want to ground that energy, save it for later, put it back in its little energy jar so that you can have it later. So yeah, this time, this is when my music gets turned up and when I just start singing and dancing and just like kind of rejoicing in the fact that my magic is working and the spell is being done, my house is being protected. After I do all of that, usually lasts about 10 to 15 minutes. Sit back down, ask the spirits if they'd like to stay, please do. If they've got to go, I'm bidding them farewell. And then I put out each of my candles. So now that we are unbuilding our circle, we're going anti-clockwise to take the circle away. So after my candles are out, I stand back up in my circle, going anti-clockwise. I'm starting from the top, drawing down the top layer of our protective circle, going to the middle, drawing back in that middle layer of our protective circle. The energy is being drawn back into my wand and back into myself. And then we're doing the bottom, drawing that energy back in. Now, some witches will turn their wand the other way when they're doing this. And if you feel like you want to do that, go for it, boo. So after you've done that, you've closed your circle, your magic is complete, it's happening, you've done your spell, all their candles are out, you can leave your altar overnight. I usually leave my altar overnight to let those energies kind of soak in and continue going, and any spirits that have decided to stay can continue to eat the delicious food and drink the alcohol that I left out for them. You're done. After I do spell work, I'm usually pretty tired. I usually do spell work at either midnight or 3 a.m. unless there's another time that pertains to my spell that makes more sense. Midnight is the in-between. That's a time when a lot of nature spirits and fae spirits are out, so that's usually when I do my magic. Decide what time you want to do your magic. You want to do it at 7 a.m. I've just been doing midnight and 3 since like 1995, so. If you guys have any questions, if there's anything I left out, if you're confused about something that I did, then go ahead and leave me a comment in the comment section or hit me up on Instagram at Mint Fairy. I'm Mint Fairy on Instagram, Twitter, everything. I'm just Mint Fairy. So go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video and have a beautiful day. Happy spellcasting.